My aunt shared her will at Thanksgiving. 3 months later, her family was destroyed. Not because the will was unfair, because she discussed it before she died. That mistake changed everything I planned to do with my own will. Let me explain. Come sit with me. My name is Victoria. I am 72 years old. I am not a lawyer. I am not giving legal advice. I am sharing what I learned from watching someone I loved make a terrible mistake. Let me tell you about my aunt. She was a generous woman, kind, fair. She loved her children and her grandchildren deeply. And when she turned 80, she decided she wanted to be transparent. She gathered everyone at Thanksgiving and told them exactly what her will said, who was getting what, who was named executor, how she had divided everything. She thought she was preventing conflict. She thought honesty was the best policy. 3 months later, two of her children were not speaking. One of her grandchildren had accused another of manipulating their grandmother. A son-in-law had made comments that could not be taken back. And my aunt spent her last years watching her family fall apart over a conversation that should never have happened. She died with that weight on her. I decided then that I would never make the same mistake. Here is why I believe you should never discuss your will with your family before you die. 1. People hear what they want to hear. You can say the will is fair. You can explain your reasoning. You can answer every question. It will not matter. Because the child who feels less loved will hear only what confirms that feeling. The child who believes they deserve more will remember only the number they did not get. The in-law who has their own opinion will find a way to twist your words. My aunt said, "I love all of you equally." Her will reflected that. She divided everything evenly. And still, her children found reasons to be hurt because one thought the house should have gone to her. Another thought the jewelry was promised to her daughter. Another thought the cash should have been distributed differently. Fairness is not the same as perceived fairness, and no explanation you give will change how someone feels. 2. You cannot predict how people will change. The person you name as executor today might be a different person in 5 years. A divorce, a financial crisis, a falling out. People change. If you tell them now that they are the executor, you cannot untell them later without causing more damage. My will has changed 3 times in the last 6 years. Not because I changed my mind, because circumstances changed. One child moved overseas. Another had a difficult divorce. My grandchildren grew up. If I had shared my will early, I would have had to share every revision, each time reopening the conversation, each time inviting new conflict. Your will is a living document. It should change as your life changes, and you do not need to announce every change to anyone. 3. The conversation never stays between you and your children. You tell your daughter tells her husband tells his mother tells her neighbor. Within weeks, people who have no business knowing your private decisions are discussing them over dinner. My aunt's will became a topic of conversation at parties. People she had never met had opinions about whether she had been fair. That is not dignity. That is humiliation. Your will is private. It should remain private until after you are gone. Let me pause here. I upload every evening. If you are not yet here for that, the subscribe button is just below. I would very much like you to join me. 4. It creates expectations that may not be possible to meet. You tell your grandson that he is in your will. He tells his partner. They start planning. They count on that money. And then what if you need that money for your own care? What if you change your mind? What if you outlive your savings? You are not obligated to leave anyone anything. That sounds harsh, but it is true. Your money is yours. You earned it. You saved it. You may need it. When you tell people they are in your will, you are creating an expectation. And expectations, even unspoken ones, become obligations in the minds of those who hold them. 5. The last years of your life should be for peace, not negotiation. My aunt spent her last Thanksgivings not enjoying her family, but managing them, answering questions, reassuring hurt feelings, explaining herself. She should have been resting. She should have been drinking tea and watching her grandchildren play. Instead, she was a referee. I am 72. I do not know how many years I have left, but I know that I want them to be peaceful. I do not want to spend them negotiating my will. I do not want to defend my decisions to people who will interpret them through their own wounds. Here is what I have done instead. My will is with my attorney. My children know who the attorney is. They know that there is a will. They do not know what is in it. I have told them one thing only. I love them equally, and my will reflects that. They will have to trust me. Not everyone can trust their children like that. I understand that. My own situation is complicated. One of my children, the one I find difficult, has made comments about money that have concerned me. That is part of why I have kept my will private. If I told him what was in it, he would spend the rest of my life trying to change it, and I do not have the energy for that conversation. So I have chosen silence. Let me be clear about something. I am not telling you to hide your will from your family forever. They will see it after you are gone. That is the right time, when you are not there to defend it, when there is no negotiation, when your decisions are simply your decisions, not a conversation. I have also decided something else. A significant portion of my estate will go to causes I believe in. My attorney knows. My children do not yet know. That conversation will happen after I am gone, not before, because that is my right, just as it is your right to decide what happens to the money you worked for. I am not a lawyer. I am not giving legal advice. Every situation is different. Please speak to a professional about your own will. But I will say this. Watch what happens when someone you know announces their will early. Watch the faces around the table. Watch the phone calls that follow. Watch the relationships that crack. And then decide whether that is a risk you are willing to take. I am not willing to take that risk. Not with my children. Not with the peace of my last years. My aunt meant well. She was kind and fair, and she loved her family. And her family fell apart anyway. Not because she did anything wrong, because human beings are complicated, and money is emotional, and the combination is dangerous. I am not going to make her mistake. My will is private. It will stay private, and my children will find out what is in it when I am no longer here to watch their faces. That is not unkind. That is wise. I upload every evening. If you would like to sit with me again tomorrow, the subscribe button is just below. Take care of yourself today, and think carefully about what you share and when. Come sit with me.